Welcome to Beyond the Chutes is presented by Parasite Systems. My name's Doug Simcox, and BTC is on the road again. We are in Saratoga Springs, New York, on Broadway. Yeah, on Broadway, 376 Broadway to be exact. We're at the Spa Fine Arts Gallery, and we've got a very special guest here. I've got a rodeo cowboy. They call him the Big Show from Bristow, Mr. Bradley Chance Hayes. Welcome to
man.
BTC.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you coming all the way over here, and I'm glad you got to see Sam and some of my friends. And I'm glad you had a chance to come over here, man, and see what I got cooking, and I'm glad you took the time, to come and stay a little and see. It's just different in person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that when you get to come back and the horses are racing and we're having rodeos up here, and Gary's a little bit of a drive, and I think Saint Sid's probably closer for me to go to than Gary.
Really?
I read it'd be close. You know what I mean? I bet it'd be close, but dang sure a good spot for me up here, because I can go to a few rodeos up north and then just right around here, and then I can paint here at the gallery and have and it's just such a cool space.
Yeah.
And this building and this studio is
By the way, we are sitting in his studio, and I'm looking at some beautiful art. Some is completed and some is in process. And there's a beautiful picture here, cowboy and two horses. And the one on he's sitting on one, and I'll let Bradley Chance describe this just a little bit.
This is a good friend of mine. His name was Paul Howard. He's a great hand. I went to school out there at West Texas, for graduate school, and Paul's daddy Sid is a hell of a steer roper and rope calves real good, and just a good hand with horses and bits, and just a real sharp cat. And I really appreciated that time that I got to spend just around his dad. But I that's just who that is. And I just thought, I'd seen just a photo of it, and then I did a little watercolor sketch, which I sent him. And then I was like, but this, I kind of going towards my art show in Fort Worth, coming up at Brumbaugh's Furniture, I was just kind of like, man, this is what I need, couple pieces like this, you know what I'm saying, for that event. So it's like, even though we're here in New York at my studio here, I'm kind of looking to the future. I got the NFR coming up, and then I've got my art show in Fort Worth coming up. But nevertheless, it's like, I've always done better, just like these horses drinking around that horse trough. Like, I know these horses, you know what I'm saying?
These horses.
Yeah. And so I'm just saying, as you're painting, you know what I mean? And it's like, you just have a lot more of a connection when you know the people. Yeah. You know what I mean? The stock.
So there's emotion in your painting.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that's whenever I looked at and read Baxter Black's poetry, and him being out there in Elko, Nevada and stuff, and really living it. I think that being connected to what I'm painting, and then him being connected to what he's writing, I feel like is pretty cool, because that's how you get, I feel like, good quality art, whether it's a bronze or painting, or you look at like Marty Robbins, music, and I feel like he just had that perspective, and I really enjoy that older kind of old country, and it's like, I feel like they were really connected to playing, whether it was with Junior Brown or, you know what I'm saying? Like, the stuff now, I don't really, I'm not as much of a fan of it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's on the radio, and I'm, and we kind of hear it, everywhere, but I really, Marty and all those older ones, I really appreciate
the Western.
That.
Then you're into Western music.
Oh man, I love that old shit though. You know what I mean? The old stuff. And even before that, but man, I like getting to do an art show like I was at Under the Big Sky in Whitefish, Montana with Zach Bryant.
Okay.
And Hank Williams Junior was there. Good dude. Like, and I get to just sit there and talk to him and Zach. That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Zach's from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from Oklahoma. I grew up there, and then I went to OSU after I went to Panhandle. But I'm just saying, but I think that being in Montana at a big music festival, and I've got my art set up, painting live, and, you know, and it all, and I think that it's cool where you meet these people wherever, you know, and however, and then you're just like, you have some kind of a connection with them, you know, like you have a love for one, either making the music or making the art or riding in the rodeos or competing. You know, there's some connections that I really, you know,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I think, and we're going to dig into it a little bit deeper. Okay. So back to this picture. Describe this picture. I mean, there's, you know, you told me a few things about it last night, and I got to tell you, I can't look at it now.
The cowboy
Bradley
piece
Chance,
right here.
I can't look at it
Man,
now.
I feel like you want it to be soft, you know, and I feel like because this moment, you know, whether you're starting colts and he's being saddled, you know, for the first time. Right. And so he's gotten on this horse. He's pushing him around the round pen a little bit. He's probably, this is the first or second time he's been saddled. And he's just petting him on the neck and, you know, and just trying to keep that, you know, trying to keep everything as calm as possible. And I feel like it comes out in this piece of art. Like you can see that, and that's what I try to do with my art is in my style. You know, even though it's a little bit different than others, I try to keep, I try to stay true to keeping that subjective, the anatomy correct. And the subject, but yet in my representation. And
when I look at it, Bradley Chance, I mean, I can't look at it without seeing gentleness in this picture.
And that's the moment. And that's what I'm trying to portray with the colors. And the emotion is it's a soft moment. And I'm wanting to keep it soft and serene, you know, and because there's plenty of moments of violence. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're starting them and then they blow up on you and you got a yearling roped or I mean, there's always going to be those moments where it gets violent for a moment. And I feel like it's also how you handle it. You know, and it's like you don't really want to have a lot of backlash. It just is what it is, and then you keep on going.
Beautiful, beautiful piece. And looking around, we've got some thoroughbreds here. We've got 6 horses out of a big old water trough. And I can't help but notice, Bradley Chance, behind you, on your coat rack, you've got your IFR 2018 qualifier jacket, number 82 on the back. Kind of I mean, it's very apparent what you're about. We got rodeo. How do we describe you? Are you a rodeo artist? Are you an artist rodeo? What
I think
cowboy?
I think the best way, you know, to describe like my style and kind of is probably a contemporary Western artist. Where it's like, you know, I'm kind of in the here and the now. Painting in my style. And I in my roping, like you know, I'm not real orthodox, like, you know, like with my roping and stuff, like I kind of do some things that some other people don't do, you know, and it's not that I'm any faster. It's just that's just kind of how I learned and who I learned from. And, you know what I mean? And there's just a way about that, whether it's match roping and picking a number that we rope on. You know, I like an odd number. A lot of people like an even number. You know what I'm saying? And I like an odd number.
Really? Just certain things.
Just certain stuff.
You see structure. You see patterns.
And I've been taught, though, you know what I mean, from a ways back.
Let's go way back. Let's go way, way back.
All right.
Okay. Grew up in Bristow, Oklahoma. I know that. But let's talk a little bit about how you all came to be settled there.
Well, I think settling Oklahoma, you know, coming from out east and then back to the west, my grandma, I'll cut into that a little bit. She was a Goodnight. My grandma's Lila Goodnight, and just an amazing woman. My grandma was, and my great grandpa was Smoke, and my great uncle Ole which would be my grandma's brother, and he calf roped. He's a cowboy. Like, he had and still does have race horses, and has a ranch up there by Ashland, Kansas, up there by Inglewood.
Yeah.
And he's run cattle, and his son Greg, and they're just awesome people, man. And I feel like just the Goodnight heritage, you know, with, you know, Charles Goodnight and these kind of characters that are long back in my family. It's like a long ways though, you know, but not that far. Like, in this country's history, it's really not that far.
Yeah.
You know, because I think Oklahoma, hell, I think it became a state like 1904.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Or 1905, but I'd have to double check that. But I think 1904, you know, it was a territory. And so, you know, I mean, going back to the heritage though, I mean, it's just been running cattle, the oil and gas industry,
Yeah.
you know, welding. And then like my family, you know, I mean, Charlie was a Texas Ranger, and then, you know, my great uncle Ole has just been a cowboy all his life. He was in the war, and then he come back and then basically built on to what they have land wise.
Yeah.
And then my grandma still had a little piece up there, but leases it. And I mean, it's just I love that. That's how I grew up, you know, and then that's where we came from is my kind of bloodline, you know, is we grew up around a bunch of cowboys and cowgirls, and man, my cousins too, all so talented, roping, running barrels, breakaway, you know, like my cousins Renee, she married one of the Stampers. They're talented family out of Oklahoma, you know. So I mean, Lila Rochelle, my cousin, she made the college finals. She had a really nice horse called Seekin. She's had a lot of good ones, but you know, pretty cool, man. We got a big family in the rodeo business, and it comes from a long ways though back. I feel like my uncle Ole and just really always pushed me to, you know, like he always would ask me, have you been roping?
Yeah.
Have you been riding your horse?
Yeah.
You know, how's your dog working? And, you know, he asked the right questions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That he cared. And my grandma would ask me the right questions about painting. If you know, if I've been working at it, you know what I mean? And my grandpa Neil held the, at Northwestern Oklahoma State there in Alva, held the RBI record there at that college in baseball. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? And then he played basketball too.
Okay. So an athletic family.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So fast forward to your mom and your dad. Tell us about your mom and dad, and then we're going to get into earliest memories.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, my dad, Brent, is was a welder and welded on live gas lines, and he was a steer wrestler, and he roped calves in college, and he lived with J.D. Yates and couple other guys, you know, and Robert Etbauer was around too.
Yeah.
Pretty good friends of my dad's, and, you know, and T.C. Perkins was going to school at Panhandle State. That's Zach's daddy. And he was like a hell of an all-around hand, you know. And then my Uncle Brad rode bareback horses and bulls, and really good hand at starting colts. You know what I mean? He's just just a badass guy, you know. And so like he just, you know, he has that ability, you know. But my dad, bulldogging wise and calf roping, kind of was that. I found that love for the timed events, like through that, and then, but really, my dad. What was really interesting about my dad, he would just show up, land an airplane on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere, get out, weld on a live gas line, you know.
Where do you learn that skill?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's definitely damn sure not trial and error. You know,
Man.
you know, it's like it ain't like it's really the best way to say it is you better have a pretty good sized bean bag. You know what I'm saying? I guess you know what I'm saying, because like if you don't think you got it, like don't show up on that deal.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Welding on live gas or
I
being
can't
around
imagine.
it on compressor sites, and then some of those vessels and some of these things, like, you know, the pressure. I do remember up in Independence, Kansas, a valve had blown off the side of this Caterpillar compressor site and went through the company man's Range Rover. It was just parked out there, and that thing like it went through the door and out the back.
Wow.
So I mean, obviously, whenever you don't do something right or put something on backwards, like it can be a bad deal for everybody. So I think that
pressure.
Yeah, so it just he and then bulldogging. He run around with guys like Stan Williamson.
Okay.
You know, which was he'd won the world a couple times in the PRCA, and so I looked up to these people. You know what I mean? And then who my dad was kind of around, and I looked up to him a lot, and it made just such a hell of an impact in my life, because my mom had taught art at the schools off and on, and then she was always, when I was little, she'd make extra money by doing greeting cards for companies or like people's names, like for their baby room, or, you know, stuff like she was just very creative. You know, and so at an early age, I was around that.
So growing up, early, first memories, you remember her drawing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a drawing table and was always working with watercolor on, like I said, making an illustration of some sort. Okay. You know what I mean? And
we're going to get into your first paying job here in just a little bit. So earliest memories. Tell me what life in Bristow was like.
Well, even before that, my early couple of years was out in a little bitty town in Rolla, Kansas.
Okay.
And then I was born there in Tulsa, and then we were out there in Rolla, Kansas, when I was little bitty. And then we made our way down there to Bristow, you know, about those junior rodeo years.
Okay.
But where me and Casey Hayes was junior rodeoing and stuff together was whenever I was out in Southwest Kansas. Casey was really getting on some junior bulls right then. I was starting to ribbon rope, breakaway, and calf rope. And we would go to those Northwest Oklahoma junior rodeos, they called them, the NWOJRs.
Okay.
And that was out there like in the Panhandle and then like to Woodward. Wouldn't really go past Woodward, but would be like, when, you know, kind of Winoka, Beaver, Oklahoma, kind of those places was where we had those rodeos.
So you was hauled. You went.
Yeah, and Dad would make sure, you know, he would be out there welding and doing what he did, and he would make sure he would get back home and take us to the junior rodeo. And it was kind of, when he was gone, though, it was up to us to ride our horses and to practice and you know what I mean, to do the legwork. And then whenever he would show back up to take us, you know, it was like he would just ask us, you know, had we been riding our horses, or had we, and so I felt like there was a level of responsibility that he kind of put on me and the girls, you know, like, you know, early. And then it was like, but I wanted to do it. Like I loved it. Hell, every day I was riding my bicycle out there, saddling my horse. I'd stand on a lick tub, saddle that horse, you know what I mean? Then my grandpa would come down there with his old green Dodge and had a little bumper pull trailer and load up my calves and haul them down to the city arena. And at that time, the city arena had lights, but they took quarters. And so I was always all day like picking up quarters out of the house or the cup holders, you know what I'm saying, and putting them in my coat. And then when I'd get down there to the arena, I'd be shoving quarters in that light machine so I could rope.
Wow.
At the city arena. And I was probably like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
But my dad had a really good friend, and he was a hell of a college football player and a cowboy, but his name was Randy Randall. And he lived on that highway like in between Raleigh and Goodwell, Oklahoma. So like on your going to Goodwell, like where Panhandle State was, we called it like 2nd Street Road, and he lived out on your way to 2nd Street Road.
Okay.
And that's what we called it. Well, Randy, he did real good. He had a crop insurance kind of company that he was always working for, but he always had some mama cows, too,
Okay.
and always had cattle, and he had like 2 circles over there by the Bains, and I'll never forget for a couple of years in a row, I was maybe 10, and Randy would show up first thing at light, truck would be out there running, and I'd just jump in, and then he'd go help me catch my horse. And wheat pasture, there'd be the winter wheat coming up, and then those baby calves need to be tagged and doctored.
Okay.
And give them their shots and give them their tags and stuff. So I would run around out there and rope them all day.
Drag them in.
Well, I would rope them and tie them down like I was, you know what I mean? Because it was little bitty, but I could flank them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd be out there running down these things going 20 mile an hour across the frozen wheat out there, and it's cold as shit.
Yeah.
And it's like the wind's blowing, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you're cold, but you're excited, because you're chasing these little calves around out there on the pasture. But then I'd rope one, and I had like 5 pigging strings, and I'd tie him, and then Randy'd come along there and tag them and give them their shots. And by then I'd have another one roped somewhere. But usually that's where I kind of got pretty good at having a dog.
Yeah.
Because they'd keep the mama cow from running me over whenever I'd have the calf down.
Okay.
The dog would kind of keep them entertained a little bit, or get them on the nose and kind of take them away from me, or they tried to help me a little bit. You know what
And you're doing this at 10 years of age.
10,
Well,
10 or 11,
To put it into a perspective, when did you pick up a rope? Who taught you how to rope?
Oh, well, my Uncle Ole was roping, and but my dad really just, that was something that I just wanted to do. I think like Clay Tom Cooper, run around with my dad, you know what I mean? And Stan Williamson, and there was always some ropers around, but these guys were bulldoggers. Now, Clay Tom was a great calf roper, maybe one of the best, besides Roy, Roy Cooper. I mean, then you got, but as far as me, I just wanted to do it, but I mean, the rope really was, for me at that time, it was a tool. Like, it was kind of like a way of life.
Yeah.
I think now, I mean, I'm roping in rodeos because because I love the sport and I love it. But I mean, I use the rope to doctor calves and I to tag them, and that's how I started.
Yeah.
And I think that, and then as like things evolved, you know what I mean? You got to where you was going to more rodeos. You got to 15, 16 years old, and now you're trying to win a buckle.
Yeah.
So you're not maybe doing some of these things as much out there just cowboying as much as now you're going to the rodeo.
Yeah.
And I can't really say, I loved any or one more than the other.
Yeah.
I mean, because I loved them both. I
bet.
love just cowboying on a ranch and just helping and working.
Yeah.
And I enjoy going to the rodeo, but I can't say I love one more than the other for sure.
So was that work back then, roping calves on the frozen winter wheat field?
Man, not really. It was just like I was always so excited. Like Randy, he played at Pittsburgh for the Gorillas up there, Pittsburgh State in Kansas. And I mean, he played running back, and he was like a hell of a ball player, but he had blown his knee out, and he loved to team rope. And Glenn Randall and Randy, Randy's dad, kind of put up the money and had made it a point to build a city arena.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so whenever I was a kid, I had a place to rope, you know what I mean? And Randy was a real big advocate of making sure it was always working, the lights were working, and then I had steers or calves, and always had stock, or and he would open the chute for me, or he would help me.
And always had quarters in your pocket.
Always had some quarters, man, to run the lights. Now, later on as it went, I got even luckier, and they finally took it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it was just automatic lights.
What's so cool about the story, Bradley Chance, is that, we watch tie-down calf roping in the arena, okay? And we talk about it being a working sport. And here, that's how you learn to rope.
I really can say that was such a part, because, hell, when those calves are running across that wheat and you're just, anything can happen. They can step left, step right. You got to be sharp with your rope because they're so small.
Yeah.
You rope them deep, and they just run right through your rope.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
now, what do you mean for our listeners when you say rope them deep?
Well, on the shoulder blades, if you rope them deep like that on the shoulders, they're so small, when they hit the end of the rope, they just shoot right through the loop.
I see.
So you really got to have a sharp neck catch, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to jerk them down and hurt them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just babies. Like I'm trying to turn them around, flank them, tie them, get the rope off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Best way to do it.
Where you're not choking them. You're just trying to make it happen as fast as possible. And then the mama cow is going to be trying to run your ass over.
Right.
So then you're trying to avoid her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so my dog usually would come into play, and he'd be kind of circling me, and I'm,
Yeah. So looking around the studio, for our listeners, I want them to understand. You and I are sitting side by side. We got these beautiful pictures around us. We got your coat, your IFR jacket hanging up over your right shoulder, and laying down in front of you, we got two dogs.
Yeah,
we got Jangles.
Django.
There you go.
Oh, Blueberry.
So talk a little bit about the dogs, and these are 2 of 7.
Yep, I got 7 cow dogs. I've got a little cabin up there in Montana, and I go and help a lot of people in Alberta, right there on what we call the High Line, which would be Highway 2 in Montana, runs across to Browning and up to Cut Bank. But just above there, there's like a community called Foremost, Alberta. You go out there to like that part of the country. You get up there by Wardlow, Alberta. That's like what they would call like special section number 2.
Okay.
Yep. And that's like kind of like hard brown grass up there. And like those yearlings do real well.
Yeah. So
they'll turn out, a couple thousand head on that, while they have the feed.
Yeah.
And so they'll have feed out there for a little bit of time. And then they got to start, they bring them up, start feeding them some rations, and and start finishing them. But there's a time that they're out there on that grass before you go and gather them up, start getting them on some rations, and they start kind of go down a different road. But I enjoy that process, gathering yearlings, and then loading the trucks, and just like I enjoy being out there. And then up there too in the spring, you got a spring branding for people, and I enjoy that. And then they work them usually again in the fall.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? So, I enjoy all that too, and so
I cowboy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so I usually, the way I do it is I'll have, I've got 7 dogs right now, but, 1 or 2 of them's kind of on the retired side of things. They don't really, they've gotten a little older.
Yeah.
And now these dogs here, they're super athletic.
Yeah.
They're in great shape. They all weigh about 25, 30 pounds to 35, and they can go and go and go. But having 6 that are really athletic, that really can work, I think that's, I work 2 at a time. And then whenever I feel like they're burned out or they're hot, I'll switch them out and get 2 different ones.
Yeah.
So I have that ability to go all day. Usually in the morning I have 2. Then at lunch time, I'll get a different 2.
Yeah.
And then the evening when I'm team roping or calf roping the arena, I have 2 different dogs out there. And so, I mean, I think it's important. You don't want anything to get burned out. So I'm trying to always keep them to where they love it.
Yep.
I mean, there's some days that obviously we don't love.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like that we don't just love,
Yeah.
and it's hard on everybody. But hell, I mean, you try to keep things fresh the
Sure.
best you can,
Sure.
and and so you just try. But at the end of the day, you just you also have to be big enough and say, hey man, I gotta stop for a second, put these two dogs up. It's getting too hot, like
You
or
bet.
they're burned up, like and you have to. You have to be that person, and then if you need to switch horses, you have to be paying attention. You know what I mean? If you need to, but I expect a lot out of the horses and the dogs, and I expect a lot out of myself. But you just have to know, when that time is, when everything needs a break and needs to cool off. And you have to try to be that guy.
You bet. You bet. That makes sense. And we're going to come back to Saratoga Springs. There's a whole bunch of questions I have around your move and everything. But let's go back. Rodeo and you're getting busy. You're starting to haul. The road can be tough.
Oh, yeah.
But you had quite an adventure, I believe it was, at 10 years old.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Whenever I illustrated that book.
No. We'll get to that one. Jump in the back of the pickup truck.
Oh, well, Daddy, they was headed to a pile of rodeos up in Nebraska. And that was back whenever they had the TCRA and the KPRA. And these were amateur associations. But they would get guys like Garrett and Oaks, like just great ropers and bulldoggers. They were there. They were around. And so, I was around. But really, he just told me, he said, look, if you want to go, get your sleeping bag and jump in the bed of the truck, and so I rode in the bed of the pickup with the dog, and I tell you, I best time of my life, I was riding down the road in the box of the truck. Now they would probably say something to my dad, that ain't cool, that you can't let a 10-year-old kid ride in the bed of the truck all the way to Nebraska from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it was a great time of my life, watching them bulldog. Then I'd get out of the truck, go rope with all the other kids, rope the fast lane dummy or, whatever. And then I'd run and jump back in the truck and we'd go to the next one. And probably the best days I can tell you, or the funnest in my mind, was definitely laying on that sleeping bag, on the bed of the truck, going down the road, looking at the stars, and that cow dog laying right there next to me. I tell you, it definitely made a big impact on my life, because now I have dogs in the box of the truck when I'm going down the road, and I'm got a pile of ropes back there and a horse trailer full of artwork and, and saddles and bits and just, and.
As you're telling this story, I don't know why, but I get this image of Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer on the raft.
Yeah, man. It's like real life. Like I was literally, and like Dad, they had a horse, like Pistol McEwen had this bulldogging horse they called Mouse. And like 3 or 4 guys would mount out and ride him in the bulldogging. And he was a winning son of a gun. Like he was a good horse. And he would just, and so there just wasn't a lot of room in the pickup with a bunch of bulldoggers. You know what I mean? They're a bunch of tall, big people. And you know what I'm saying? So like it was just one of them deals.
But getting invited along.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, man, I wanted to. Yeah, I was like so pumped. I got to go, man.
Yeah. And then you got into competition of your own.
Yep, things started kind of.
Yeah, you were doing some ribbon roping and that sort of thing. Breakaway, but then you started to move up, and you did a Little Britches rodeo right up through. Yep,
Little Britches, like Casey Hayes. He was from Liberal, Kansas. He was really showing a lot of promise on riding bulls, and he roped calves too, and his brother Colt team roped. So Colt and Casey, they were like my family. They spelled their name Hayes, and then ours was Hays.
I see.
But I mean, we were raised together. Colt and Casey's mom and dad, Kyle and Donna Hayes, just awesome people. Like I tell people all the time, like just like my dad and Kyle, they was tough on us because we needed it, right? And I watch them with other kids now, and I'm like, man, everybody else has got it so easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like whether it's their grandkids or
Yeah.
somebody else's kids, and they're just trying to help them. And like Kyle and my dad, there's nobody that cares more than helping than they do, and showing you, you know, whether it's getting a baby or a baby 9 bull rope and putting it on some beef steers and flanking them for you, or or what, whatever. It's just that, I mean, they care, but they know too, right? So it's like they know what to do, and they've been down that road. So it's like, I think, a lot of people will be out there trying to help, and they don't know a damn, they don't really know what they're doing, but that's nice that they try. Yeah. But they don't really have the knowledge and game, like in some people.
And the guidance.
The guidance, dude. Like in some people that do have the game and the knowledge won't help people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a two-edged sword or two-sided coin. There's a lot of talented, awesome, cowgirls and cowboys are out there, but they don't really help anybody. Like they kind of hold that knowledge as a vice, and they kind of hold it in. They don't really share it. And then there's some people that are out there, and they really like share it, and they want people to get better, and whether it's a different bit or a tie down or a saddle or why are you holding 3 coils? You only need 1, or what do you know what I'm saying? And now you get it. I mean, you know what I'm trying to say. Like it's important, and they do help. Like that's but
are you seeing? Are you able to give back these days at the rodeos?
I tell you, it's something that. Oh man, I tell you something I'm real proud about. That I went a couple of years there, and I'm always trying to help people that want to rope, whether it's mounting them on a horse or buying calves to rope or helping them. You know what I mean? Like I'm always doing something. But out in Montana, we started like a high school and junior high school rodeo team out there. Nice. In Montana. Yeah. And I started getting everybody to come to practice and kind of got it kind of going. And some of the parents, they dang sure played a huge role, obviously, as they would. Yeah. But again, sometimes, it's, like it was one of those deals where like I've lived it, like, and we're doing it. Yeah. And sometimes these parents, they haven't really like lived it. Yeah. They played like high school soccer. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then their kid wanted to get a horse, and then they're watching YouTube, or they're over there like listening to some local hero tell them that, how to rope or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, man, I feel like there's a lot of good. Yeah. Yeah. But they ain't going to beat me, right. Or they're not going to beat Trevor. Or like if you want to beat if you want to even have a shot, you got to get around a certain group of people and ride a certain group of horses, like, and it's got to be, you got to work hard because like and your local roping club or whatever. I'm not saying these guys out there stretching them in the team roping and 8 or 9 doesn't know something, because they do. Yeah. But if you're going to calf rope and steer trip and bulldog, there's some specific things that a person needs to, to pick up on. And I feel like everybody can share something, and you can learn something from everybody. Yeah. And then you can also not. Yeah. From everybody, like, don't pick up everything that you see.
Well, like, sometimes you see something go, oh, better not do that.
Yeah.
We learn a lot of different ways.
Damn right. And that's what I'm saying is, but then there's like when you see somebody, and, like my uncle Mitch Fechner, he was from Kellyville, Oklahoma, and he's trained, some of the nicest calf horses in the world. And a couple of times in my life when I'd gotten hurt playing ball or whatever, roping, I'd go and open the chute for him.
Oh, okay.
And I'll never forget one time, Mitch, I asked him a question, and he says, maybe you just need to learn to listen with your eyes. And I was like, all right. Like, so just pay attention to what he's doing.
Yeah, watch.
And do what he does. Like, and then that's where I started picking up. I was like, what Uncle Mitch is doing is what I need to do. And in my life now, when I'm training a calf horse or starting colts, like I find myself doing little things that he would do.
Yeah.
And indirectly, like I just didn't realize how much I was learning from him. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like all of a sudden, then I'm like doing it.
Yeah. How many years ago was this when he said, "Listen with your eyes"?
I was in high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stuff sticks with you, right?
Yeah. And I was always that kind of guy, Evel Knievel. I'd broke my collarbone snow skiing. You know what I mean? And so it was like I tried to do a backflip or something, you know what I mean? And it was like,
well, you had done that before, right?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah, right. Like no, like everybody just asked me if I could, and of course I was like, of course I can.
Yeah.
And then I broke my collarbone because I landed on my head.
Oh, yeah.
And so then when I came back to Oklahoma, there I was like had this like X sling thing on, you know what I mean, deal, and it was just like
you got a bump and everything.
Oh yeah. Plate and some screws, but I'm saying open the chute, you know, and pushing the calves up, like it's like I didn't want to stay at home and do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so then I got healed up, and Mitch had me riding a few horses and roping on a few, and then but
we're going to talk injuries here in a bit. Bradley Chance. But I want to kind of catch us back up. So we're getting up there, headed towards high school now in rodeo, and I want to get back into the art just a touch. You said you had a drawing table, you were doing watercolors, you were doing sketches, and you got your first paying gig. You were 11?
Yeah, going into being 12, and this guy, I asked the football coach if he just sold snake oil because the guy was, you know, like coming around promising everybody the world.
Where'd he come from? Do you know?
Ozark Publishing had come out of Arkansas.
Okay.
And Dave and them had some books that did get published and that did really well as far as accelerated readers and things. So like I didn't, but you know, I was too young to really know that then. You know, I was just kind of like, is this a possibility?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, so it was a competition that was school-wide, then statewide, and then national-wide, basically to write and illustrate your own children's book, right? And so I had the help of Coach Randy Bain. He proofed my book and kind of, you know, got the grammar sharp and just really helped me with that side of it. Had a good storyline, and then I did the illustrations, and my mom helped me refine my watercolor illustrations for the book. And like a year went by, and I didn't hear nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden they called me into the principal's office, which wasn't uncommon. You know what I'm saying? Like
he knew who you were.
Yeah, they knew who I was. And they were like, Bradley Chance to the front. Yeah, I came over the intercom, over the whole deal. I was like, oh, gosh. What did I get caught
this
for?
time?
What did I do that
it could be a number of things.
I was like, what did I do today
that they know about?
Yeah, that I couldn't remember what I did, right? But they were like, yeah, they knew, but I had forgotten, kind of a deal. And so I go down there, and I'm like, and they said, man, your book has made it through the whole deal. Like I'd know I'd won the school deal. Yeah. Right. And that was cool.
Yeah. Oh, you did.
Yeah, I did know that. I knew, but I didn't know.
You knew it was going on to state?
Yeah. Yeah. And it ended up getting published. And
so it was a national winner.
Yeah. And this book was called Dragonfly. And it was For Kids by Kids, Ozark Publishing.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'll never forget that. Was pretty crazy because then like the local news station came down there with a camera and they were like, hey, we want to do a story about this kid. And I'm come out there and you know what I mean?
Is that your first interview?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I was just wearing a white shirt and Wranglers then, you know what I mean?
That's what you're wearing today.
Yeah. I'm still wearing the same thing. I've been wearing the same thing all my life since I was. And I think it started when we'd go to Guyman to the pro rodeo Pioneer days. We'd always ride the trail ride, and everybody always had to have a white shirt and black jeans during the parade. That was like what everybody would wear.
The dress code.
Yeah, that for for that. And so like it just kind of stuck, you know what I mean? And like when I was a kid, I was like, well, I'll just like, so, you know, still to this day, I wear, you know, a
Is
white
that
shirt. And
when you paint?
yeah, every day I
this
wear
is what
a white.
you're wearing?
Yeah.
When you rope?
Yeah. White long sleeve Wrangler shirt and
Yeah.
Wrangler jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah. 13 NWZs, 33, 36. Yeah.
So how tall are you?
6'4".
Okay.
Yeah.
6'4". How old were you when you got to 6'4"?
I was in college. I kept growing in college. You know, I was probably only like 6'1", like in high school.
Only? Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And then like in college there at Panhandle State, whenever I was working for the Etbauers, I grew another 3 inches.
Oh, okay.
Like,
okay.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
Just,
really? In college?
Yeah.
That late?
But my grandpa said we were late developers. Like he always told me, he says, man, don't quit. You know what I mean? Don't quit your roping. Don't quit your art. Like, you know, just because we mature later.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like he just would always say, like,
Really?
we just were late developers. Like, and
Yeah.
he said, you know, like, now my dad, you know, he won state in high school football, and he had guys like Kent Bressler and, you know, like Ray Lee and Colin Back. You know, there was a couple guys that were just, you know, studs back then, you know, playing ball, and they had a great coach, and Kent Bressler was a good back, you know, running back. So, I mean, they had a good formula, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like Dad, I definitely have taken his shape. He was a little bit heavier than me because he bulldogged, you know, but, you know, he was just a little bit meatier, you know, but me, I'm just, you know, my mom's really small.
Oh,
you know, she's probably 5'2" or 3.
Oh, wow.
Probably 115 pounds. Like she's a small lady.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so I think that, you know, I'm just kind of a mixture, right? Like, I mean, I just didn't, you know, but.
Still 6'4".
Yeah, and calf roping, that really helped me in the early, you know, we used to rope a lot bigger calves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I was lifting, and, you know, we roped a lot of English calves then, and
what do you mean English calves?
A lot of Angus, Hereford, like
okay.
Charolais, you know, like a more of a what I call like a native or a English kind of bred cattle. You know, now, you know, you see a lot more like Longhorn up in Canada, and out in Alberta, you know, you rope a lot of Longhorn calves, and, you know, and even out in California. But I mean, we rope down in Oklahoma and Texas, and like, you know, in the Southeast, you see a lot of Bramer cattle, you know what I mean? A lot of ear on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I made the Southeast Circuit Finals, you know, it was like a lot of ear on the cattle, like, you know, on the calves and stuff. So everywhere's a little bit different.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and to have that variety, man, all those things you put in your toolbox.
Yeah, exactly. You just, when they run them in there, and you know,
look at a calf and expect things.
And you start kind of thinking, well, this is what I'm going to do to get by him today, and tie him in 8-8 or, you know, or 10 or whatever you got to be. You know, it's like, you know, sometimes it's 7-8. You know, it just depends on what the scenario is. You know,
you bet. And high school sports.
And I was really loved football. I played football, basketball. You know, I developed, you know, when we were in Raleigh, Kansas down there, and then I came to Bristow, like it was, you know, I was playing every sport in that small town. And then like when you go to a bigger school, you kind of need to start picking your poison, you know, on which road you're going to go down, because people started to become a lot more specialized. And then the off season, they was working at that because they wanted to go to college to play, you know, so I think that was a great move for me and my family, you know, when I went down there to Bristow, because, you know, I got to play football with some great guys, and basketball, and then, but rodeo and roping kind of continued to pique my interest through it all. Like, you know what I mean? And I was always looking forward to summer. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was always like, kind of like, but I mean, I played school sports, and, you know, and I think that probably the way, and you've watched me around here in New York and watched me with people, I think that the way I interact with people is I grew up in that kind of environment where I, like I just.
Team sports are important to you?
I think it's important, not just for me, but I think it's important for a lot of people. Like, I think it can really help make people competitive. I think that, I think being held accountable, you know what I mean? To hold the line, to hold that line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And be accountable and be a part of a team.
Yeah.
And that old saying, there's no I in team.
Yeah.
I really took that to heart, and I started to realize that you can't do it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And even me being a pro artist and a cowboy, like I have a team of people that's kind of around, and you can see that, just
oh my goodness,
wherever we sit down and eat, to where I sleep, to where
everybody knows Bradley Chance.
Yeah, it's like I'm a part of the.
You're connected.
Yeah, and in Whitefish, Montana, it's the same thing. I can walk down Main Street and everybody knows me. Like, I won the average circuit finals in Great Falls, and people are proud that that they have a cowboy that's competitive enough in that northwest corner, because they're used to everybody being on the east side.
Yeah.
Being those cowboys that can really rope and ride, you know what I mean? So like being up in that northwest corner, you know what I mean? I'm one of the few.
You bet.
Chad Johnson, the other calf roper from up there, he's up there by Del Bonita, and and then me, and then Dustin Bird is over there by Cut Bank. And so there's a lot of talent kind of spread out up there, but a lot of it is in Alberta. I tell you, there's a lot of great ropers and bull riders and saddle bronc riders, in that.
You bet.
That southern Alberta, down southern BC, across to North and South Dakota.
Okay. All right.
So there's just a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Like in the rodeo game up in that north, and a lot of powerful horses in the bucking horse game. You get up there, you got C5, you've got Kessler, you've got some of these kind of guys like that.
Yeah.
Mogza.
Yeah.
Mogza, Rodeo, like he's got some awesome horses and bulls. Like
You
I'm
bet.
saying, so that's Luke's dad, Luke Mogza.
Oh, okay.
But I'm saying it's just one of them deals, like but when it came to selling my art, and it came to the business side of, New York's been good.
Yeah. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Playing football, outside linebacker.
Oh, I did play some outside linebacker,
and good enough to go to college?
Man, yeah, like it would have been a smaller school, like I had the ability to do it. I was going to need to put on a little bit of weight. Like I was headed down that road, but I knew that I wanted to rope at a high level, and I knew I wanted my art to go.
Yeah.
It was like, so I was like, anything like that was going to be a lot of fun, but was going to be taking me off my path from what I was going to do in my life.
Even back then, you kind of
I really did. I kind of I really kind of saw that the writing on the wall, that this was my opportunity. If I want to get out of this town, I mean, not that I didn't love it. It's just that if I wanted to be able to make a living with my talent, then I was going to have to go on, and the road was going to have to get. You was going to have to go down that road. Yeah.
And around that time, you broke your ankle.
Yep. I broke my ankle. I was in, I think we were in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. I think up there at the Ben Johnson Arena. Mm-hmm. Calf stepped over there to the right. You know what I mean? And I'd wave my rope over there, and I was riding a little white horse that wasn't real big, pretty good little horse that I got along with okay. But he kind of got jerked up out of a stop right there. And Gene Tallman in the ribbon roping, we had some pretty good sized calves. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it just jerked that horse out of a stop. And you know what I mean? And it just, when it did, it just that my left foot was on the ground and my right foot was in the stirrup. And so it just jerked that horse out of a stop. And I mean, it just sounded like a shotgun went off. Just pow!
Stepped on you?
Yeah, just that right front leg of that horse got jerked out of that stop. And he stepped over there, and I mean, it clipped me right there, and it just sounded like a gun went off.
Wow.
And my Uncle Brad was out there flagging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so then I just like remember cutting my rope, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just laying
the
there,
calf
and then
go.
and then
Yeah.
I just laid there, and I started trying to cut my boot off because I knew that it was going to start swelling up.
You
'Cause I
knew it was broke.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt. So I was just like, let's get this off.
Yeah.
Get in the bed of a pickup.
Yeah.
Go to the hospital, and
Took you to the hospital in bed of a pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they just wanted to move me around, and I was like, nah, this
Yeah.
is going to be where I'm at.
So surgery?
Yeah. 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 Ended up getting staph infection.
Oh, jeez.
You know what I mean? From the same time, Adrian Peterson.
Football player?
Yeah, played for the Vikings.
Yeah.
And he played at OU.
Okay.
But I had the OU orthopedic surgeon was Dr. Ray Hall was going to do my surgery. Well, Adrian being a, former OU guy, like that's just where, and so we both ended up with staph same time.
And that meant going back into surgery, getting cleaned up, and
Get my ankle cleaned up. They had to grind the bone down, clean up the bone, and then they had to refit the plate back on there and put her all back together.
And how many weeks of antibiotics?
2 weeks, like where you had to give the PICC line in your arm, and that was just tough. You'd have to put the saline in there first, and clean it out, then give yourself the antibiotics. And then I was back into an air boot looking thing. So it was just tough. Like,
how long get back on your feet?
It was dang sure couple months, that like 2 months, I was really going to be walking pretty good, like in just 5 or 6 weeks after, having the plate and screws and everything. But the staff kind of threw it, it threw a little wrench in it. So then it was about another month or two, like that, and then I was back going. And then I couldn't even really get down and flank and tie calves for another couple months, I wanted to, So it just took some time.
And today?
Oh, I don't have any problem with it now.
No limp, no nothing.
No, it just kind of like it doesn't have the flexibility as the other one. It like stops at a certain spot, and then like when I'm in, not so much over here in the east, but up there in Montana in the winter, like it dang sure, like I can feel it in those real cold mornings. Yeah. Just getting going, you can, but up there, it's pretty frigid.
Yeah. You're able to walk it off, get it limbered up, and be okay.
Yep. You got to get moving though.
Okay. So go through high school, you're rodeoing, you're playing football, you're playing sports, and you decide you want to go to college, Panhandle State in Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
And you get picked up by the rodeo team. Talk a little bit about that.
Man, they had an awesome guy out there. His name was Craig Latham, and he was a multi-time NFR saddle bronc rider. And he was the head coach, and then they had Robert Etbauer, which
his brother-in-law, right?
Yeah, exactly. And now Robert is the head coach now.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
okay.
Craig passed a few years ago, and he was a very close friend to me, and I was a big fan of his. And he, we just. Like, that was a great fit. I didn't really have the grades at the time to go to OSU. I wanted to go to Oklahoma State right out of high school, but just wasn't in the cards, I just didn't have the money.
Yeah.
I didn't really have the grades. My parents and family, they tried to help where they could.
Sure.
My daddy, he made sure I had a good pickup and a good roping horse, but, college was really my goal, that was kind of my deal, and so
what were you interested in, Bradley Chance?
Well, at that time, I still liked welding, and was kind of looking at industrial and shop, but they had a really good professor there in art, and he played college football. His name was Brent Shoulders. And, man, he was just a super talent. Like, like he could do ceramics, he could paint. And then Yvonne Sangster and Brian Test were both great painters. And then David Elder was an art historian and also a ceramics guy too, and did like horsehair raku firing, and was just a super talent in the arts. And those 3 or 4 people. And then you had like a photography guy named Larry Wiggins, and he was like a awesome photographer. And we had a dark room where you would develop the film and go through the whole process of doing all that. And, so I just had like, it was like a awesome time to be there. And at that time in my life, I just looked up and we just had like you had guys like Taos Muncie was there, Court Shear was around, Terrell Etbauer was roping calves, and he was riding saddle broncs in. In the calf roping, like right down the road, you had guys like Kelsey Garrison. They went to school like at Clarendon maybe, or Levelland. And then, but then you had like at that time, Roy Cooper was still around Childress, Texas, in the Panhandle right there. Mm-hmm. So you just had like a good, like within 300 miles of that area, you had a lot of ability.
A lot of talent. What was it like, Mr. Latham, as your coach? What bless you.
Oh, I think Craig, he was a winner, like, is the best way to describe him. Like, he had the mindset of winning. And I got to give him a lot of credit, because he didn't have a lot of knowledge in the roping end of it, but he would get people around there that did. And like, even when I was like in college, like, there's this guy named Ray Frankhauser. I bet he was like 6'6". You know what I mean? And he had won the KPRA and the calf roping, you know what I mean, and the TCRA, maybe right around the Panhandle. And he could rope, like, but I'm saying he was just like in flanking and tying with him, and him being around there to rope, like at those jackpots in college,
Yeah.
Like we'd have like a little Monday jackpot for $20 or something, and run 2 calves. And it was just a good way of getting the barrier up, making us compete.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that Craig was real big on, was compete. Like, you've got to practice that.
Yeah.
And so we would kind of have like a fun jackpot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Little money in the pot, little ante, right?
Yeah, something to get get it to where it was.
Yeah, it matters.
Yeah, now it matters. And so then you'd like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it really, and so he didn't limit it to just the college rodeo kids. That's what I'm saying, is he would bring in a couple other guys that could really rope. Yeah. And we were, in school, and they would be in that jackpot, and it would kind of push us.
Yeah, yeah. And at that point, lots of influence from the Etbauers, from Craig Latham, from all these cowboys around you, these talents, the older ones, the mentors. How was your mind developing at that point? Rodeo mindset. We're very interested in that.
Well, I think probably what really helped me the most is I went to work for Danny Etbauer, riding a few colts and stuff, and then helping out around his place. And he had like guys like Logan Hodson, that are like, Logan's rode bulls and rode bareback horses, and he had a pile of horses around there.
Okay.
And some of them were barrel horses, you know what I mean? And he would want us to team rope on them, and he just believed that it made him a better horse. And so I think that being around Danny, being one of my favorite people on this earth, like, he was just an awesome guy, and his mindset of overcoming obstacles and, injuries, and and being positive. And then he went on to be the pickup man for the NFR. He had like these badass big yellow horses. One of them name was Gladdy. And I mean, he just had like a string of horses that was amazing. He was a good pickup man. He was a great bronc rider, but he team roped good. He healed, and he was just a cowboy. And and I think that being around all of them, but like working for Danny and then and he would hold me to the fire, because, I dang sure had some lazy moments, and he would, like just, he would just hold me to it. Like, and he just pushed, and he was just a good guy that was a good guy to be around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you weren't really working.
Yeah.
Like, you were getting a rope.
Yeah.
And you were getting to ride horses and doctor cattle, and then he would get jobs, whether it was for the Freemans or whoever would have a lot of cattle outside, and they would call Danny, and then we'd go help him. Okay. So there was always, that day work type, job around, and it was with him.
But it's still rodeo, right?
It's rodeo,
for
sure. Because when you're out there with him, you're talking about which rodeo you're going to, and then he's telling you about the arena. Yeah. Who's got the stock. Yeah. Like, he knows.
Well, it comes to mind as you say this, Bradley Chance, is we don't walk this journey alone. And, man, you've got people plugged in all around you.
Man, that's where I believe
Is there anybody you can't talk to?
Well, no. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of people I don't want to talk to sometimes. I don't know. Yeah,
no, that's different.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of people I don't want to talk to. Yeah. But but I feel like if I do enjoy people. Naturally, my grandpa was like that. He was, and that's probably, like, as an artist, I think is probably been able to make me a living with it, is that I get out and I talk to people, and I will drive to New York from Montana with my art for the Belmont and and have an art show. Yep. And I feel like along that journey in itself, you just meet a lot of people. Yeah. And then if you go to a lot of rodeos and you have a lot of friends that you've been riding with for a long time, then their family and they know you. Yeah. And they genuinely care and wonder what you're up to. And I really genuinely care about them and what they're doing and how their horses are and how their ranch is, or but it's like, I feel like you've got to be able to sell at the end of the day, like a product, whether you're selling horses or you're selling art or dogs, or training cow dogs for people. Like, there comes a point where even if you don't want to communicate, or you have to, right. Like, it's just part of it.
Yeah. Cowboy way.
Yeah. You gotta
cowboy up,
you
and
gotta
get to
go.
it.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
You mentioned your grandpa. He had a lot of influence on your life. Talk a little bit about him.
Man, he Walter Neal Hayes, man. He played basketball, played college baseball, started off playing there at OU, and left because he couldn't really play both sports, and ended up at Northwestern Oklahoma State in Alva, Oklahoma. And my grandma, she had a car, and she was Miss Northwest Oklahoma.
Oh, wow.
So she was on the trailer, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Riding around out there, and she was a pretty hot thing, I think. And my grandpa, Walter Neal, his nickname was Squeak.
Squeak.
And his brother was Squawk.
Squawk.
Yeah, Squeak and Squawk. And when his voice was changing in high school, he'd go, hee! And they just started, they call him Squeak. Squeak Hayes. Yeah, that was his nickname. And so he would, so then he walked up to the trailer, and he's like, Queen, meet the king. And he was like Mr. Athlete of the Year. And I think she was running with somebody else. Yeah. You know what I mean? And she cut him and got in with Grandpa there. Yeah. And he didn't have a car or nothing. Yeah. And so he started, and he didn't drive. Yeah. She'd drive everywhere, and she had a car. Yeah. And he just, like, that was a pretty good deal for him.
Yeah.
He thought that was about as good as it got.
He got wheels.
Got wheels and got a girl, and that was it.
Yeah. And a big baseball player.
Man, loved it. Yeah. Loved coaching it. Loved the game of baseball. Loved it. Loved playing in college. Loved being a part of it after.
Played some pro ball.
Yep. Semi-pro all through the Midwest there. Farm ball. Just a super, super awesome guy, those. But then whenever he had the family, you know what I mean? He really like turned his attention and was a great father, became the superintendent of the school.
Oh, wow.
You know,
okay.
he coached baseball.
So an educated man.
Yep. He had great. He got his degree.
You bet.
And then he went on and got his I guess been his master's so that he could have been a superintendent and principal.
But he was a teacher first.
Yep, he was a teacher and coach.
Okay, what did he teach? Do you remember?
Man, I wasn't really around for that because whenever he was at the school, he was a superintendent.
I see. About
whenever I was in school, like he was the man up there, and then like he was kind of, but, man, just an awesome guy, and didn't now my grandpa didn't have that bug for rodeo. Like that wasn't his deal.
Not at all.
No, that wasn't him. Now he would drive them to my uncles and my daddy. He'd drive them to the rodeos.
Oh, he would.
And he would take them.
Okay.
And he'd get them around people to help them. But that just wasn't, his deal.
I see.
I mean, he grew up in Bow Lake. Now my grandma's brother, Ole, was into the roping, and he was, he was kind of the one that was the cowboy, like in the family, that was really the one that kind of got that deal kind of started. And then.
So your dad and your uncle, it was just around, rodeo was just around, and that's what got them
there was a family over in Hugoton, Kansas, the Brickisons, and they all rodeoed. And, they all got in with the Brickisons, and they were just little bitty going to those Little Britches rodeos.
Okay.
And it didn't take long. They had her figured out. Like my Uncle Bart rode bulls, Brad rode bareback horses. You know what I mean? And he got on some bulls too. Mm-hmm. And then my dad picked up the steer wrestling and calf roping.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And away they went.
Yeah.
And they really did good with it. And that really, and they would ride anything. They were just hungry for it.
Really?
And wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And my Uncle Brad, I tell you what, that dude could get on him and spur. I mean, I've seen the pictures and I've heard the stories and I've seen him just riding colts and seen him lifting and, and how good of a shape he is even now. And it's like, man, you got to be careful, what you wish for, because these boys come from that world. They can get it on.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And I guarantee you that dad of mine now, I'm telling you what, he could do it.
Yeah.
That bulldog, and it come pretty natural to him.
You bet.
But he had a family, you know what I'm saying? And so like he was, he put them first, and he put that first, and that was really his number one goal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And going to 80 to 100 rodeos wasn't. He was that guy that's going to go to 25 or 30, just right around the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he just
stayed local.
Yeah.
But he went.
Yeah, he went.
Yeah.
And he did it, and he loved it.
Yeah.
But now me, I've taken it to another level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With my roping. But like I said, Danny.
Yeah.
Etbauer and Craig Latham and Robert, they just that was the start, right? Like when I went to school there at Goodwell.
Upped your game?
Oh, yeah, up my game, up the ante. Like I had good people to rope with.
Yeah.
Every day. David Moore had a roping arena right there at his house. We lived in a little trailer house out there, 4 or 5 of us, had a pen of calves to rope every day. I had a couple good horses, and like it was just a good time in life, and it was a good foundation. Like they all were, Court Shear's older brother Cleet was there, and like fundamentally he was just like you know, a badass at fundamentals, like when it come to roping and, you know what I mean, like just training. Like he was just a real fundamental guy. Like he was just probably one of the best I've ever been around as far as like, you know. And so whenever I was around people like that, it just helped. You know, it just kind of developed you, you know, and then you like, then as life goes on, you start, like you look up and you're like, wow, I can't believe 2.5 years went by.
So 2.5 years at Panhandle
Yeah.
State. Now, while you're on the college team, you're still riding professionally. You're still going to rodeos?
Yeah, I was going to some pro rodeos and stuff at the same time.
And hauling with a bunch of guys, and away you went.
Yeah.
Okay. And then 2.5 years there, and then you go to Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Okay. And got your grades up?
Yeah, had my grades up pretty good. And but I tell you, my first semester at OSU, it was tough. Like it wasn't what I expected. Big art department, huge. Nobody really cared who I was at first. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like I didn't hardly get any attention at all.
Okay.
And I had to take only art history. They wouldn't let me any studio courses. And I was like, and it just about, you know, like I was like, man, I wanted to be working on stuff, making sculptures or pottery or art, you know, or making something. I wanted to be doing something, you know.
Now, are you still doing stuff on your own? Or you still
I was
sketching? You
yeah,
still
but kind of, but it was tough because, man, like the workload of all these history classes at OSU, it was like they almost tried to burn me out. Like it was like they tried to smoke me out right there, you know what I mean? And for a whole semester.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Tried to burn me out almost like, and I just stayed hooked because it was tough because since I transferred, I couldn't go to any college rodeos either because I transferred.
Because you transferred.
In the middle of the year, so I had to set that whole year out.
Okay.
You know, so, which I got that year back later.
So
but I'm saying.
Still practicing with the team, still
trying
around?
to, you know, a lot of people, I had made that transition and was roping with them, but I was kind of roping with guys like, I was roping with guys like Jerome Schneeberger, Caddy Llewellyn, Trent Krager, and then I had a guy named Marty Brock, and Marty was a big influence on me right then because I really needed that person to rope with that I could look up to, and that was a big time in my life because I didn't really have that at the college, and at that time OSU really didn't have, oddly enough, like a real strong rodeo program like at Panhandle State.
Really?
Or Fort Scott. You know, places like that. Like OSU and K-State, they had programs, but it wasn't like now it's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Cody Hollingsworth has done good there. They've got a good assistant coach. You know, they've got a good thing going.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's taken years.
Yeah.
Of developing.
Yeah.
And I think that, so me, I was kind of looking for places to rope. I was looking for places to keep calves. And like, you know, I was kind of looking for that. And Marty was that guy in the community that calf roped and was a pro that kind of, he knew what it took and he worked at it. He had a good horse and, you know, and he was close with Don West and Ken Bailey and
Terry Don West dad.
Yeah, he was close with those guys, and then they end up helping me too, you know. So I had that kind of coaching around me at that time, and people giving me advice.
Yeah,
and I just was like, I mean, that's about as good as it's going to get. I mean, I think Don West was, you know, was one of those few guys like Tom Walker that probably made the IFR and the NFR. Back when the IFR was like in Tulsa.
Yeah.
And then like the NFR was in Oklahoma City.
Oh, wow.
I think they were some of the few guys that, you know, made both.
So back in this day when you're going to Oklahoma State, what associations you riding?
Man, I was going to the TCRA rodeos, the UPRA, and IPRA too. We were going to some IPRA rodeos then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. And they about froze you out. They about ruined you the first semester at the university and all the art history classes.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I was over it, man. It was just like, like I wanted to be doing.
Yeah.
I wanted to be going to the college rodeos. Like I wanted to be a part of something, and it just wasn't.
So they opened the door and they said, all right, come on in at the end
Bad.
of
You
that?
know what was tough? That was the spring semester, and then I had the whole summer.
Oh, wow.
So it was like it was just kind of like, man, did I make a poor choice?
I was going to ask, what's your mental state at this point?
Yeah, I'm like, I was kind of definitely second guessing.
Yeah,
like, I'll tell you that. And it was like a dream to go there. So it was kind of like a big letdown.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But where things kind of turned around for me is I took watercolor in the fall with Jack Titus, and he was a really good watercolor professor.
Okay. So you're a second semester junior at this point?
I would be,
Second semester junior.
Yeah.
Going back in the fall.
Yep. And it took me 2.5 at Panhandle and then 2.5 at OSU. It took me 5 years to graduate.
Okay. Not everything transferred.
No.
Or
that's
did you
what I'm
change
saying.
majors?
No, I kept it the same, but the deal was at Oklahoma State you had to have like, I can't remember how many credit hours of foreign language.
Oh, okay.
I think like 10 credit hours. So it kind of
So you're pretty good. What, Spanish, French, German?
Yeah, a little French and Spanish.
Yeah.
And then I snuck in a sign language.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, we could finish this show up in sign language. How about that?
Our listeners would be like, well, yeah. We're not seeing a lot here.
No video.
Yeah.
No video.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Oklahoma State. So time to rock. You're going back to school. You get introduced to, it sounds like this very influential, you find your guy.
Yeah, and he is a great painter, very talented. He's a country kind of dude named Jack Titus. He was like a really good professor. He'd been there maybe 36, 37 years. Like he was like,
oh, wow.
Awesome. Had a long career, had seen a lot in his day. And, but technique wise, he had a lot to teach a person.
Okay.
And he showed me a lot of stuff. And I kind of just picked right up where I'd left off.
So no bad habits. So it's kind of like, I learned to rope and then you go to college and go, oh, we need to change some things here, Bradley Jans.
Yeah. With
the painting. Pretty good foundation, pretty good. So he could just build on that?
Yep, he did.
Or there's some major changes?
No, he didn't really ever try to change that. He showed me some new techniques, and he just showed me some new stuff that I started to really pick up on. And I think that it's like, that's where I really started to define like my identity really as this contemporary Western painter.
Really? Way back then?
Started kind of right there.
Okay, watercolors.
Yeah, in watercolor.
Okay.
And then I progressed into painting in oil, and I had another professor. She was a great painter, and I worked with her. And then Jack got to my senior show, and I felt very, very accomplished.
You did?
Yeah.
Senior in college.
Yeah, I felt like
you've got some work.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I had found buyers for my entire collection.
Holy cow.
Boone Pickens, that built the stadium. T. Boone Pickens.
Okay.
He was married to a lady at the time named Madeline Pickens. She came and bought some pieces. And then I had a guy that was building a huge restaurant in Stillwater, and he bought some pieces from me. And that was like my entire collection. And I sold my senior show out.
You sold out.
Yeah.
You sold out. Then you find your way to West Texas A&M.
Found, like, I was looking.
Was there any time off between your
No, like that summer. But I felt like if I was gonna do a good job and keep it rolling, like, and keep the brand hot, like it was like I needed to be enrolled in the fall.
Okay.
And so that was a great deal that I did, because I enrolled out there in the fall, And there was a painting professor out there and a sculpture professor that I really got along great with. And so you know what I mean? So like I hit it off good out there, and I had a really good, just a really good network, and I was getting to rope a lot. You know, I was getting
Still
rope.
keeping that balance.
Yeah,
Still
it is.
rodeoing, still painting, still it's all
keeping that balance. And I really had, then I started figuring out my stride a little bit, you know, and was still kind of cowboying and day working.
Yeah.
You know, putting food on the table for myself, you know what I mean, by just cowboying. And then, and then my art, I started going out to Taos in Santa Fe, New Mexico with my art, dropping some pieces out there, you know what I mean, and started going to Eagle's Nest, Red River.
So right out of college. So you complete your Master of Fine Arts, West Texas, A&M, 1-year program. How long was you there? 2?
No, the Master of Fine Arts is like a PhD.
Yeah.
So I was actually there for about 3 years because it's a
full-time student.
Yeah, it's 60. I mean, I think, a Master of Arts, an MA was like 36 hours.
Yeah.
And this was like 60
plus.
Wow. Oh, wow. So, I mean, it was like, it's a terminal degree. That's what a lot of people don't realize. It's like it's a PhD.
Oh, it is. Okay.
For fine arts.
Had a thesis and a whole bit to it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That took a whole semester just by itself.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And how'd you game up? How'd your game get better there in art?
Well, painting? I think where my game really evolved.
Yeah.
You know, I would say evolved would be it evolved because like it
evolved.
Yeah. Yeah, you're getting to that age where you're completely on your own. You ain't got any help at all. You know, now everybody's doing life. You know, you're in your 20s now, and it's like now you're looking, you know, like, do I get a job or how do I? And so like basically I had gotten a degree to where I'd become a professor.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so like that's what, and I just didn't want to do that then because I wanted to still travel and still show my art. And I felt like becoming a professor would kind of keep me in that place.
Okay.
You know, which I mean was fine, but not for me because I wanted to be out traveling and doing it.
Yeah. Maybe one day?
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Not against it one day.
Okay.
To give back to the arts would be the greatest way to give back would to be the professor of art somewhere, you know, and like to give back, or be a rodeo coach or something like that's giving back there.
Couldn't you do it both?
Oh yeah, totally.
I'm a rodeo coach, and oh by the way, I'm a art professor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean that's totally could do it and do a good job at it.
Yeah.
But I feel like you can't. You know, you've got to stay focused on what. Yeah. You're in like me being here in New York now. It's like, you know, I'm here doing it. Yeah. Like as you look at all the art in the studio and this gallery, like I'm doing it. Yeah. And I think that the same way with my roping, it's like you watch me up there at St. Teague in the short round, and it's like that calf runs. Yeah. And I make a good run right there, but I'm saying that's doing it like and then. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's part of that whole thing. Like either you're doing it or you're not doing it. Yeah. You know if you're doing it.
Yeah. 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 And I was up there, right? The first weekend. Yeah. And we got to talk about St. Tite. Yeah. We got to. Sylvain and BJ.
Oh man, that's a awesome.
How do you describe it? How do you
I don't even know like the words you really I think the best way to describe it is I would say like it's like the biggest rodeo on the East Coast for sure, right? Mm-hmm. Like but then it's like the energy and the production, the whole 9 yards is just so wild. Like how and Sylvain and has worked at that to grow that. And then the festival, like Anne Marie has, you know, worked hard to back it. And then you look at like, when you put the economics to it, I mean, like it's just like it just has created something that wasn't even there. You
Yeah,
know, it created
yeah.
something out of a little town out there in the middle of nowhere to being a thing that when you turn the TV on in Canada, they're talking about it.
You bet.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's happening. That
650,000 people come through that town in 10 days.
yeah, I was about to say I figured it was 500, but I'm not surprised that there's
Last year, they had some big concerts and such, a little bit different. 721,000 people, they said, in 2023. And this arena, purpose-built, rock and roll, and just the energy.
yeah,
so,
it's just
so,
yeah, it's
so,
wild.
so when you're back in the box there, you feel it?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think yeah, you feel it there, you feel it at the finals. But what is the most important is just make your runs.
Yeah.
Like you're on that wheat pasture. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
chasing those baby calves.
I
Like
love
it's
it.
like
I love
you know, at the end of the day, I go back to that.
Yeah.
Those days in my mind of that, you know, still today.
Yeah.
Like I still just keep myself chill because I think about, man, roping those calves on the pasture. Like, you know, like.
Yeah. What a great mindset. And you were up there for the first weekend, which is the Canada Cup,
Yep.
right? You win first round, you win second round, you go into the short round. Fast running calf.
Oh yeah. Ran
Fast
hard and
running
off to the
calf.
left. And
Yeah.
you just, at those moments, you just make the best run you can.
Yeah.
And scratch if you can.
Yeah,
You know, like,
yeah.
and if you can. And like, you know, but there's not a lot of barrier up there, but there's enough that you can still break it if you go right with them, you know, so you're trying to let them go first. And then some of those longhorns, you know how it is, they get the drop on you and you say you're just late, you know, just a little bit, and they feel it. You know, if you're on the barrier, the cattle feel it and they let up right there. You know what I mean? And then you can.
Okay.
So they're, you know,
Didn't
like
know that.
if you're a little bit late,
Yeah.
now now they
They're
feel
gone.
that space and then shoo, they're gone. Yeah.
So you were there for the Canada Cup the first weekend, and you had to qualify for that.
Yep. I
So-
went to those four rodeos and qualified.
Okay. So what do you say to your rodeo competitors about the opportunities up there, especially some of these young guns that are going?
Well, it's like we talked last night. You know, there's some good rodeos up there, and now they've gotten some good horses and bulls from out west, and you know they've got a good group of bulls and horses, and they got a breeder over there in Ontario that's got some really good bulls. And I mean, I feel like that if I was some of those guys out there, you know, you could come over there to one of those rodeos and win the pot money and the bull riding and win you know, a good chunk.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, and they're adding $2,000 or $3,000 at these rodeos.
Yeah.
Throughout the season now.
Yeah.
And you know, whenever I was coming up going to IRAs in Oklahoma, some of them had 500, some of them had 1,000. These rodeos are adding 2,500 to 3,500 bucks.
Yeah. There's
You
money
know,
around now.
A rodeo, yeah. So, and yeah, Joey's rodeos too. You know, up there are getting good, and he's adding more. So I mean, for me, I think that it's like I've kind of created this niche to where I can be here in New York selling my art. I can go up there with a young horse that needs the runs.
Yeah.
Season them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, you know, and then you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. You know, you're making a good living with your art, then you go up there and you're roping for good money.
You bet.
And
Could a guy spend a summer up there?
you know, like you could for sure. I mean, easily.
Yeah.
And
There's
do,
enough count.
yeah, easily and have what you need. But for me, I just, you know, I'm
Yeah,
so
you
close.
got the business.
Yeah, and I'm so close. It's really, I bet,
Yeah,
from here to go up there is 4 hours.
And that's
So-
all IPRA sanctioned up there.
All of them are up there. Yeah.
So, gotta ask you, you running and gunning for the IFR this year? Is there a
Man, I
possibility?
tell you, there is. Like I it's kind of crazy. I just out of nowhere, I win, you know, 6,000 a day, and I looked on there, and I'm only a couple thousand.
What'd you pick up in St. Tite this year?
I think like $6,800.
On 2 weekends.
Yeah, just right there, and then
Picked up some from some of the other rodeos up there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. I didn't go to very many. I was kind of going to more of the PRCA circuit rodeos kind of locally around here, you know, and then I just bounce up to a few of those. And then,
Okay.
you know, so I really didn't chase any of it, you know, really that hard.
Yeah.
Because I had the Belmont and the Travers horse races and the Fasig-Tipton horse sale. So, you know, like my art and my career has kind of come first.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, but my roping, I've got some good horses and I've got a good, you know, like I see myself being back over here this next year, being as the Belmont's coming back. And then I think probably next year go back out to Montana and rodeo in Alberta again out west.
But you're still going to have a presence here in Saratoga.
Oh, always will.
Yeah.
Yeah, always will. And then there's going to be that day that, you know, like I can't really calf rope like I can at the pro level. And then, you know, I might just team rope for fun or something like that. But nevertheless, this will always be a part of my business is here. And then out west, I'll always have a handhold, you know, in the west too with my art and roping and horses. So it's like I feel like being on both, being out west and here in the east, it's important because, I mean, your biggest art movement and deals are still always going to be in New York. I don't care what people say. Like, I mean, they're, you know, like it is.
And you get into the city on occasion.
Yep. I'll go on down there and go to some big auctions and.
Comfortable down there? I mean, city boy.
Man, not really. Like you know, I mean, it's not really what I wouldn't use the word comfortable for sure. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think I'm ever comfortable down there. I'm not saying
you got people down there help you around like they do up here?
I got a few, but they're fewer and further between.
Yeah. And you're kind of on a quest with rodeo. There are 12 circuits in the PRCA. This year, you've already qualified for the First Frontier Circuit Finals, and that's going to be in
Harrisburg,
January.
Yep, Harrisburg.
And this year, for the first time in a while, you can compete both at Harrisburg
and the IFR.
And the IFR.
So that's why I'm saying is I'm going to the Congress this week to rope. I think
so back to that. Yeah. There's money out there yet to be made. You can get it done?
I can get it done. It's like but I've got my shows coming up, so I'm trying to get it done, you know, and then at the same time, like it's tough because I'm trying to go the least amount and win the most, like everybody, you know, it's like, it's not a secret.
Do well once.
Yeah. Like you're trying to do it like that. And I mean, you know, it's like, if I do it, good. If not, it's okay. Like,
so
it's not
Quarter Horse Congress in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
You're up there. It's 2 goes and a short round.
Yeah. And it's co-sanctioned.
Yeah. With the IPRA.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I've got maybe 11, 12,000, maybe one. And they said, maybe you can win 3,500 there.
And that'll do it? Will that get you qualified?
It would get me closer.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you look at like Trent Kreger, which is a good family friend of mine. I think he's the one that's like 15.
Is he staying home or is he going?
Oh, no, hell no. Like he says he is, but he ain't. Like, you know what I'm saying? He'll tell you that he's staying, but he's about to go to. Yeah. He's going to be sharp. You know, he's a veteran of the game, and he's won a couple gold buckles in the IRA, and he knows what he's doing. So he'll probably, if I know him, he's getting a pretty good one ready, and he's going to go probably there, and then he's probably going to go to North Carolina to the WCRA event.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You bet.
He'll have his hands full out there with Shad, Mayfield, and a couple of them. But at the same time, he's been there before, and he knows what to do. So I feel like I can still put together some money right here at the end. Yeah. It's still a Hail Mary for sure. You know what I'm saying? But like,
you like those moments?
Oh, hell, I've been in most of my life. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of where I've kind of, I'd like to sit here and tell you it's always been a lot sunnier and no rain, but by God, it don't always look like that.
You told a story last night, speaking of rain, rain or not, in the practice pen, you and out in those wheat fields, put on your slick and you go out and work in the rain.
Yeah, I feel like that the animals and the livestock, and you're going to have rodeos where you're in the rain. And so like I just try to have a poly rope that, you know what I mean, that I'm used to,
Yeah.
when it gets wet out, that
Yeah.
I just kind of have a poly instead of a grass rope, and
Yeah.
I try to, there's nothing perfect,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're trying to
Yeah. Yeah.
but you're just trying to know what will work and what won't,
Yeah. Yeah.
and some horses I have, they're not good in the mud.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? In the wet. And then I got some that are just great.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just, you kind of got to just, kind of know what your stock's going to do and
Yeah.
how good they are in different situations.
Yeah. Yeah. And you rope in the mud. You rope in the rain.
Oh yeah.
It just ain't a thing.
No, man, I feel like you got to, I'd like it to be 75 every day and beautiful, but you know how it is
Yeah.
up in the mountains. It ain't like that all the time.
No. So 12 circuits, PRCA circuits, the United States is broken into them. And you've got kind of this quest, right? And you want to qualify to each of the circuit finals, 12 circuit finals. And if my math is correct, you've already qualified and competed at 8.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. 7, Montana twice.
Montana twice.
Yeah. So I really need probably 5 more.
5 more.
Yeah. And I think my next one, that's what's tough is I really need to go to California.
Yeah.
And I don't really.
Northwest.
Yeah. And
Columbia River.
Yeah. I really don't want to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they have a lot of great rodeos out there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's the Gene Autry Art Museum.
Okay.
And I feel like that I need to, for my career, I'd love to have a show there, and I would love to get my art in that world out there. And I feel like, and I've been out there, Temecula. We had a big art show at Temecula, California, and I had a great time, but I didn't stay. You know what I mean? Like I did the show, then I left.
Mm-hmm.
But I really feel like the next goal for me would be California circuit, and get out there and then, and win the circuit out there in the calf roping.
And you talk about Gene Autry Museum and all that sort of thing. And so typically you can find harmony between your rodeo competitions and the art?
Yeah. I think that total harmony, you just kind of find, usually when they're having the rodeos is when people are having the festivals, art show. It's
They don't compete too much?
Well, yes, they do. As far as you'd be somewhere roping and you need to be somewhere showing your art. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. But again, that's why I probably this year I've been not gone to as many rodeos, but I've still won pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just that I haven't really been going or getting to a lot of them. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's but my winning percentage is pretty high.
Yeah.
You know, and as far, but, your circuit rodeos and this circuit up here don't pay like the IPRA does up there.
Right.
So the money's not as good. So in the standings, people look at it and I'm like, well, it's all relative.
Yeah.
They don't pay it very much, so it don't show very much.
Right.
But when you go to the finals and win the finals there, then the money's there.
Yeah.
And then you go to the NFR Open in Colorado Springs and the money's there.
You bet.
So your long game is, kind of what you're shooting for.
So what would we talked about Canadian rodeo and invited cowboys and cowgirls up there. What would you say about rodeo on the East Coast? What have you discovered since you've been out here?
A lot more than what people would ever have a clue about. I guarantee you. There's a lot more going on than people. And for me, I've always got some young horses that need to be seasoned and taken somewhere. So for me, it's a great opportunity. You can enter a rodeo that might have 15 to 20 guys, and 9 or 10 second run's going to win first. If I'm in Alberta or out there in Montana or Idaho or somewhere, you're going to have a guy like Bo Pickett or Logan Bird or Kyle Lucas or Tuff Cooper or, Marcus Costa. Someone's going to show up on the scene and tie one in short 8, and you've got to blast one. Mm-hmm. And I understand that's just what first is going to be. If you want to win first, that's how, but over here I can, season that horse, still win first place, make my horses, You know what I'm saying?
Still good competition?
Oh, yeah, there's a couple guys that can really rope. You know, I mean, there's not as many of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But there is a handful,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, that will push you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that Tyler Zabrovius, you know what I'm saying? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yep.
That's the pickup man.
Yeah.
That son of a gun can rope, and he's just a good cowboy, good pickup man. But I'm saying he can rope. You know what I'm saying? He don't make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
then like
Yep.
up there in Quebec, they've got that guy Matthew Gagnon, and that boy can rope. You know what I mean? And so like same thing. And you got Jared Noren. You know, I mean, you got 2 or 3 right there just in this Northeast I mentioned between Tyler Sabrovius, Jared Noren, and Matthew Gagnon. Everywhere I go, I got to beat one of them 3 guys.
Keeps you on your toes.
That's what I'm saying. You got to stay, even though I'm riding a younger horse and trying to season one, it's like you got to make something happen. Like if you're getting blasted out there on the 40-yard line, you got to throw your rope and turn them around in time and short 9. Like, because these boys can too. So
yeah, and you've got what'd you tell me? 9 horses out here.
Yeah, I got 9 horses here.
You got 7 dogs out here with
Yeah.
you. You got 50 head of cattle you're messing with, and every day you was telling me you go out and work them cattle with your dogs every day, and every day you ride.
I ride up there at exit 23 up here off 87 up in the mountains. I go up to this spot there. It's just beautiful. And I ride my colts up there and drag a log and work my dogs. And you know what I mean? And just a lot of times I'll just split 2 or 3 off, you know what I mean? And work them just slow and you know what I mean? And just get a lot of confidence with them, because then I know one day I'll go back west, you know what I'm saying? Back out there, and it'll just be like game on. You know what I mean? Like it's like this isn't forever.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, it's part of it's always going to be forever.
Yeah.
I'm always going to have my art here and be connected to this community. But as far as my spirit and my soul, like I love living in Montana. You know, I love painting out there. I love helping the ranchers out there. But really like seasonally coming here, selling my art, getting to rope out here, people wouldn't know what's out here. Yeah. Like I couldn't. How many people go to the rodeo at St. Tit there on a Friday night? How many people was there?
I think they seat about 7,500.
Yeah, and that's sold out every night.
Every night. And
so 8,000 people every night. And then you go to Cowtown, New Jersey. How many people you think's in that place?
Well, they're doing pretty good. I think
3,000,
3,500,
and it's
probably
sold out every night.
It's sold out, absolutely.
So I mean, everywhere you go, you know, you got the big energy. And Cowtown has an energy to it too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like in
Oh yeah.
And there's nights at Lake Luzerne up here, Painted Pony, that'll be booming, and it's a great place to rope on horses.
And how far is that from here for you? Lake Luzerne.
25 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can throw a rock and hit it.
Paint all day.
Yeah, right
load
here.
up and go.
Yeah, grab the horse, saddle it, you know what I mean, and then go.
Yeah.
And then you're there.
And then Saturday night, Pond Hill.
Yeah, I love Castleton up there. It's a beautiful place.
Isn't that great?
I mean, that place is a hidden jewel, you know, like I tell people all the time about Pond Hill.
The O'Rourke's up there.
The O'Rourke family.
And history.
Man, it's unbelievable. And people wouldn't even know that exists.
You got to know where to go.
Yeah, you better know where it's at.
You bet.
But exactly, there's a lot of opportunity up here, and if I was a young guy getting my head kicked in out west and the judges ain't really giving you the scores, you know, like, you know, I feel like that a year over here too, you know, and win the year end over here and then go back west and you're a little bit better. You know, you're riding broncs a little bit better or bulls just a little bit better. You got a little bit more confidence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you've won some money while you're doing it.
You bet.
And you could keep going.
And,
you know,
and their broncs end up at the IFR.
Oh, yeah. And then they have horses that, you know, like I said, they've made deals with all of them out there to get good bulls and horses. Like they know what they're doing now. Like it's like they've been doing it a long time, and people wouldn't even imagine it, but they've been at it a long time.
Yeah. And And back to St. Tite, I go up there, and the grandstands, they're gorgeous, right? All under roof, just absolutely perfect. And on the end of each grandstand, there are these big banners. And right there on them, you look at these big paintings. And one, I believe, is Sam Swearingen. Is it on Tequila Sunrise?
Yes, that horse, Tequila.
On that horse. Yeah. And down there underneath it, it says Bradley Chance Hayes.
Yeah, and that's my gift is marketing. Like, I think that when it comes to using my art, like I've really found this niche to using like my watercolor designs on a large scale for marketing. And I think that whenever it's selling something, whether it's the NFR or the IFR or
Calgary.
Calgary Stampede or Panoka or whatever it might be, I feel like when people go with me and use my art, and go down that road with me, I think what they get is something really unique for selling that event, for promoting that event. And I think that's what's most important.
Yeah. And you got sponsors help you go down the road and keep you engaged.
I've been with Wrangler a long time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really close with Wrangler Jeans. I've been with them about 12 years now. I'm probably more of an ambassador than I am really an endorsee at this point. You know what I mean? I'm kind of privileged some knowledge on some things and topics that I'm not going to talk about, but I can tell you that
no inside scoops.
Yeah, no, there's none of that with me. Like it's, or with Modelo beer, I'm an endorsee with Modelo, and I'm with them, and then so I don't really, like with my deals, like business wise, like it's not really about patches on my shirt.
I noticed that.
Yeah, it's not really about being like a walking billboard as much as like my deals are mostly between me and them.
Yeah.
And, like is making art for the marketing, and it's more of a, true business approach with my art. Not so much like me in the arena being a billboard as much as just me being who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you were up St. Tite, you worked in the Wrangler booth. You painted up there.
Yeah.
You're always on display.
Yep. Somewhere in the world I'm doing like here
you're
painting.
Always on camera, right?
Yeah. All the time. People
always representing.
Yesterday I was out there, and News Channel, the local news, was doing the weather for Saratoga, and like I'm right there on camera painting out front of the gallery, and like now, I'm a part of the scene, and
outside. Okay, there's this beautiful overhang. First off, keeps you out of the weather just a little bit, keeps you out of the sun a little bit. But if you wanna meet Bradley Chance Hayes, all you gotta do is get on Broadway. Get on the even side, get to the 300 block, 376,
and I'm right here.
And you can walk up and look over his shoulder.
And I'll be working on a painting, and my dogs will be laying right there. And
will you talk to them if they walk up on you?
I talk to people every day. And that's what, they always have, where are you going with this painting? Or when did you start? Or where is it going to be when you finish? Or where but I don't mind visiting with people at all. Same way, like whenever I win a rodeo, or and even if I don't, but my horse works good, and people walk up to me and they're like, "Man, tell me about this horse." Or,
tell us about the horse.
Well, I've got a 5-year-old Playgun mare that I've been riding right now, and then I've got a big sorrel Easy Jet horse I bought out in Alberta, and then I've got a roan mare, and then I've got a big bay, and then I've got an Oklahoma Star. So all 4 or 5 of them are all at different levels, but up here, I can rope 4 or 5 times a week. That's what I was telling you last night. Hell, you can go to 4 rodeos, 5 rodeos a week and not drive 30 miles.
And get back home and paint.
Yeah, and be back here at the art gallery and do my stuff and sell my paintings. And, when I'm out west, the problem is with nothing. There's not really a problem with it. It's just it's the way it is. You're going from Williams Lake, British Columbia, and then you drive from Williams Lake back across Tabor, Alberta. Yeah. Or, it'd be dang sure 10 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of just window time. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with it when that's what you're doing. But for me to be a famous artist and do what I'm doing here, it's like you know, I'll be catching a flight to go back to Montana for another show, or in Jackson Hole, Wyoming or something, be doing a private show. And it's like, man, it's just tough if you're driving all over the world, you know what I mean? Like I can't really, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So talk a little bit about the fame.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely
I mean, you're noticed, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people though don't, you know, I do like, you know, I sold a lot of art to Toby Keith, and in his day he it just like when he walked in anywhere, everybody just give him all kinds of grief, you know, just sign this, sign that, can I take a picture with you? Same way with Adam Sandler. I sold a piece to Adam Sandler the other day at the horse sale up here, and he loves racehorses.
He was there.
Mm-hmm.
He walked up and talked to you.
Oh yeah.
So fame talking to fame.
Yeah, but I mean, Adam Sandler and Toby Keith is way out there. Like me, I'm just the same guy I've been 20 years. You know,
No change, you don't think?
No, not really. I mean, honestly, like I've been doing the same thing. I've been painting and roping, you know, for 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, and and the way I've respected and talked to people then and now is the same. I've been, but that come from my grandpa. Like we were real big on moral, and like, you know, just because you have more don't mean you act different.
Yeah.
So like, you know, there's nothing like, you know, I don't think that ain't, you know, so my deal is like with Toby, he loved talking to me about my art. Trisha, his wife, was always very, very, very sharp, asking me a lot of questions. And Adam, same way. Oh gosh, I mean, it was like, I mean, I think that it's different for them because people notice them, right? And they just stand, like me, no one knows who I am. Like it's my art that people notice.
I see.
So I'll be walking down the street and people don't have a clue who I am.
Okay.
But I'll have my cowboy hat on, my dogs, and so they're like,
and your IFR jacket on.
Yeah. And so then they're like, oh, that's the artist guy. And so then I'll talk to people, you know, or I'll be in Vegas, like, oh, that's that artist cowboy guy, you know. And so, you know, and I'll be somewhere in the airport and people walk up, hey, we saw you one time over here at the Belmont or in the NFR or at the Rolex show in Wellington or at the Ralph Lauren polo match, or, you know what I mean, or somewhere. And it's like, and it's always kind of cool, but really I do love the way it's been in my life, because like I get to live my dream, but people don't really bother me.
Yeah. That's cool.
You know what I'm saying? But like you've created something that's famous, but you yourself, you know, people don't even know you or who you are. Like when you walk by and Walmart, it's not like they're like, oh yeah, you're Bradley Chance's Western artist and roper or something. It's like, nah, they don't really. No, but they definitely look at me and they stop and they just kind of look at me like,
he's got to be a cowboy.
This guy probably
does a jacket on.
Yeah, this guy probably does something. You know what I mean? Or
got
a couple dogs right here. Yeah, it's like,
dogs go with you everywhere.
Yeah, they go everywhere, man. Everywhere. And you've noticed that.
I did.
Every restaurant, everywhere I go, I take the dogs.
Man, they laid down, they tucked in. They was there for the night last night.
Yeah. And they would been there until I told them we weren't going to be. And like they love it. Like they don't want to stay at home. They want to go.
Yeah.
You know, they enjoy the journey just as much. And the horses do too. They enjoy getting to go and do something. Like nothing, you know, I truly believe, you know, God created us to compete, you know, like, and to go and do that. And I feel like it's like getting to go and do that and work to do that is a privilege.
Yeah.
Because it's freedom, right? Like you're getting to do something that you want to do.
So speaking of journey and speaking of getting to go and getting on the road, what's your fall look like? I know you got the Quarter Horse Congress coming up this weekend.
Yeah, probably ease on after that, head on back down. Good friend of mine, Dallas Shot, he bought the Judd Little Ranch there in Oklahoma.
Okay.
So I usually will try to go there and stay like for a week or two until my art show and at Brumbaugh's. And Larry Brumbaugh is a good friend of mine that owns Brumbaugh Furniture.
Mm-hmm.
We do a private art show called the Western Art Showcase at his place there. And so like that's like November the 8th, I think, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I'm basically just going to get down there and start getting ready. I might even set up there in the stockyards and paint live like over the weekend,
Okay.
you know, a couple of times, just to kind of hype up the show coming.
What do you need when you go into a place to have a space that's conducive to good art, to painting?
Well, I've got a couple of lights that I
Okay.
got to set up that just give me lighting would be everything. And then, you know, now like I've got my material list kind of down, you know what I mean? As far as like what I got to have, you know, like I kind of carry it with me and, but man, just pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like to if a guy can get there early, like a week or two, and paint out front, like in the stockyards there at the old Coliseum, you know, and just kind of, and then you run into just 3 or 4 of the right people, and like, hey, I'm got this deal coming up, and then
a little bit of
and then it's just
So you've got a lot of paintings that have been completed. So you got inventory when you go down.
Yeah, I sold quite a few this summer, obviously here, and then I've kept a few as I was going for my next show, and I try to do that, like have 3 or 4 strong ones when you go to the next place, and then like, you know, and then when you get there, maybe they've got 1 or 2 from there. So Brumbaugh's will have a couple pieces of mine year round. Whitefish, Montana have a few pieces. Vail, Colorado will have a few. You know, and then here in Saratoga, like I'll leave a few.
Yeah.
So
even though you're not here, your art is always available to come in and take a look.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And out west too. So like that's pretty cool. Like I've kind of created something that's working when I'm not there.
And are you commissioning much art? Is much art being commissioned of you, I should say?
Yeah. I do some of that, but a lot of it is just stuff that I've created, you know.
Yeah.
But I do some private commission stuff for people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were talking this morning at breakfast. Great breakfast, by the way. A little grocery store right around the corner.
Pretty cool spot.
Yeah,
man.
you said last night. I got a friend. You said, a guy that will make his breakfast. He runs a grocery store.
Yeah, and he just kind of does that out of the back. Like sometimes he just will do that, and like.
Wow.
Yeah, and I know it's like I kind of got my little spots around here, you know, where like you know what I mean, where I go and kind of how I roll around, and it's like I've got a lot of good friends and people around, and it's like a community, you know, and I really do love the vibe here.
Yeah.
You know, and the community.
Yeah. And you're plugged in, and that's important to you, the community.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Okay. And keeps you in that artistic mindset, the community?
I think it just helps give you confidence to do what you need to be doing, and then everybody around you supporting it.
Okay. And the NFR is coming up. You'll be out there for 10 days.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about where you'll be and what
Well,
that's
I
about.
used to be there at MGM Grand for, I don't know, maybe about 8 years. I was probably at MGM, and this last 2 years, we in Wrangler as a company have moved over to Resorts World.
Oh,
okay. And now we're calling it Rodeo World. And so we're creating a lot of activations over there, and it's creating you're right next to the Las Vegas Convention Center.
Activations?
Like they'll do the BFO there. The bullfighters only. There'll be there'll be a little bit of shopping. They'll have like a big watch party right there at the Wrangler Doghouse.
Excellent. And the folks, how do they find you? They don't come to Saratoga, let's say. They don't get up in this part of the world, but they want to know more about you. And we'll put this stuff in the notes.
Yeah. I mean, I think Art of the West magazine. Mm-hmm. I just talked to the editor. So there'll be a big feature story coming out here pretty soon in Art of the West.
Art of the West.
Yeah, magazine. So that's going to be coming out pretty soon. And then obviously, always can contact the art gallery. There's always somebody here. Facebook, and then Instagram. You know what I mean? It's Bradley Chance Hayes Official. But I guess inevitably the long game for me is to continue my relationship here in New York, and then build more out in Montana, but then at the same time, keep that going and then keep this going here, and then continue to be able to go back and forth.
Okay. And on Facebook, you're Bradley Chance Hayes.
Yep.
Right?
Hays.
Hays. Instagram, same thing.
Yep.
Right. And spafineart.com.
Yep.
And they'll find you on there.
Oh, yeah. My art's on there.
Beautiful studios.
Great website. Great people. We've got 5 full-time employees.
Yeah.
We've got Allison Stryker is the director.
Yeah.
She is awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we got a good group, man. In the winter time, I will always continue to still come back around. It's just that far as roping and the bigger shows are just going to be in the South. It's just in the wintertime. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
Like I don't make the rules up. I just live in them. So it's like I just kind of am a part of those bigger shows and that bigger scene down in West Palm Beach, Florida in the winter, and then showing at the Rolex Grand Prix, and then Scottsdale, Arizona, showing down there for a month or two. But man, just good timing I think is important too. You got to be there when it's the right time.
You bet. Do you ever get to Lexington or Louisville, Kentucky?
Man, I have, but it's been long. Like I'm going to be looking to get back over there. I got a good friend that lives in Lexington, so I'm going to be looking to get back that way for sure.
Excellent. Last night you shared about your grandpa, and he had a saying about a pelican.
Yeah. Strange bird, that pelican.
Give us a little context where he
he said, ain't it crazy that bird just swoop down, scoop that fish up, and then swallow that whole thing whole? He said, how many birds do that? Or, how do you? I said, a strange bird, that pelican.
And when do you remember that?
He just like me. I mean, he would I think he was talking about me, like indirectly, like he would say that saying, strange bird, that pelican. Because like he would see I'd have all my ropes and stuff and art stuff all scattered out. Like it just looked like total chaos. But I knew where everything is. You know what I mean?
Still a sense of order.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I know where it all was. And, and he just, that was me. I think I was the pelican he was referring. Yeah.
I love that.
He was referring to as like I was just a strange bird. He just kind of always... But I never really could get out of it. It was just who I was. Like, it's who I am still to this day. And now I'm living in New York, showing my art and headed back to Montana. So it's like,
Montana.
I mean, it is what it is.
Question. When it's all done, however many years from now that is, what do you want on your gravestone?
He lived.
He lived.
This one right here, he lived. He did it. Like, and I can honestly say, like, there was nothing that in my mind and in my heart, like, as I sit here and tell you, like, I lived and I have been living. Like, I've been living. Like my dream was to make it as an artist and a cowboy. It didn't matter if it was the PRCA, the IPRA, the TCRA, or the whatever RA, or who cares, or the CPRA in Alberta, or like it didn't matter to me how, like, what association I was going to be in. What mattered to me was how I lived, that I got to do what I wanted to do every day.
Yeah.
And that was my dream.
Yeah. Wow. He lived.
He lived.
Well, you got a lot to do this coming week.
You got a big one coming.
You got a big one coming.
I'm going to go rope on my horse today and sharpen him up.
And you're going to be out on the sidewalk here painting just a little bit.
Yep.
So final question. You've done a lot of interviews. I know you got one that's coming out. You'll be featured in the magazine. Seen you in Cowboys and Indians, and
Yep.
I've seen you in American Cowboy.
Yep.
So ton of interviews, and the papers stop by and they interview, and the radio station stop by, or the TV station stop by. So you've done a ton of interviews. And you're fixing to go out on a ton of shows, and you're going to be in demand. I saw you at the, what was it, NFR Live or whatever on the stage with the dogs.
Yep.
All these interviews, and this will help me. What's the one question that all these interviews you never been asked, and you kind of go, seems like that'd be if they ask this, that might lead to something.
I think that would be why. Really, I can answer it the question would be like that they haven't asked would be like why not one or the other?
Oh, okay.
Like why not just focus on my art? Yeah. Or why not just
Perfect.
work?
Let me ask that.
Yeah, and I think for me, why not one or the other?
Yeah.
Is because I feel like it really truly feeds the other one, and it's almost like I have to have it. But painting, and no one's really asked me why not one or the other. They just try to ask me how you manage your time between the two.
Yeah,
Not really why have you not.
Let me be direct, right?
Yeah.
Let me be direct. Why not one or the other?
And to answer that, I think it's I just like the art and the passion I have for creating, feeds that side that I have for training my dogs and horses. I feel like that making that painting and making that horse and making that dog, I actually indirectly have the same formula for all three.
Can you share that formula?
I try to go as soft as possible.
Soft.
And then there's always a moment of, that it's not. And it's how you handle yourself. You know what I mean? Whenever that moment turns violent.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It's you're how do you refrain from, shanking on that horse, hitting that dog, taking a knife and cutting that canvas? How do you work through it, without losing your cool? Yeah. How do you keep your patience with that puppy when you're working the cows and he just keeps messing up? How do you when you're working on that painting and you keep messing up and you just can't get that thing to do what you want it to, do you just tear it up? You throw it out the door? I'm just saying, same way with the horses. It's the same thing. When you make one or two runs and it don't do good, do you just put them up and try it a different day, or do you force it? What I'm saying I've watched a lot of people go lots of different routes with training good cow dogs, horses, and making art.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've watched people completely lose it. And that one moment, they burned that horse up. That dog ain't never going to be as good as it could have been because they just lost their cool that one time.
Yeah.
And in that art piece, if you'd have just stopped and walked away from it, but to answer that question, it's I feel like I've had to have it because for me, from my childhood, it gave me purpose, and it gave me something to do with my time, but it was I wasn't just burning up the time. It gave me a purpose, with my life, that if something happened to me today, that I'd left something on this earth that I was really like really happy to make. And that's my paintings. And if other people got my dogs or if they got my horses, like I would want people to know that I work so hard to train them and to make them as good as I possibly could.
Yeah.
And why not one or the other? It's because like I feel like who I am is all of it.
Yeah.
I'm all of those things, and I feel like that the way that I go about training my dog is the same way I go about making a painting. I try to go as soft as possible and quiet into it. You know, and then there's obviously always going to be moments that shit don't go right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's how you handle those moments
Sure.
that define us, I think, as people. Like because like, do you turn to violence?
Yeah.
Or do you walk away? Or do you just say, you know, how do you, like me, I've tried to be able to, you know, like
Last night we talked a bit about the cowboy way, right? We talked a little bit about character. And that was the thing that and I think this folds into what you're saying. I think character, which is embedded, right?
Yep.
Which is the base of us in a lot of ways. And you also talked about the Bible verse, I think it's Galatians, and the 8.
be 9.
Be 9.
9 fruits of the Spirit.
Talk about that.
Well, the 9 fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, gentleness, and self-control. And, you know, like I've read the Bible, and I felt like that was the one, like there's a lot of things I got out of it for sure. But that was the one thing that I tried to, like, I think about those 9 things. And if I can just do a few of them every day or help somebody or, you know, and that's not just people, my animals or other people's horses that I'm training or whatever. Like I think about that a lot, and I'm like, man, do you have love? Do you have joy? Do you have peace? Do you have patience? You know, do you have kindness to all the homeless people over here on the street? Do you go and get them something to eat? Do you know, do you have faith? Are you gentle with the dogs? You know what I mean? Are you self-control whenever I don't want to be cool? Yeah. Like when I want to lose it on, like I try to these days, like I've been there where I didn't have it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I know. Yeah. I've been there where I've pushed that envelope, and I've been on the edge, you know, of crossing that line that you never come back. And that's like, I know what that looks like. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I know what it looks like. And I think for where I'm at in my life now with my paintings, and my horses and my dogs, and just, is I try to, show a level of maturity as best I can, you know, and that's all I can do, you know, and I try and give it all I can. But
did you do the best you could?
Yeah. And right. And I think that's where I was trying to tell you earlier, like playing sports, like my coach would say, did you leave it on the field? Yeah. Did you give it everything you could? Did you actually leave it on the field? Yeah. And I felt like that I could always say I did. Yeah. You know, and with my roping and my art, I can truly say that I have left it on the field. Like I have. Yeah. And I think you can see it in my roping. Like I'm not as, you know, there's guys like Shad and there's guys out there like Haven that have a lot of natural ability and a lot of people helping them. You know what I'm saying? With Tough Cooper, you know, they have all these, but like with me, I've got this kind of way about me that I can find a way to win. Yeah. Like I'm just, you know, and with my art, I found a way to make a living with my talent. And with my dogs, I've taken a bunch of like half-bred mutts that are great cow dogs, you know, because like I've bred back to this dog or this, and it's like now I have like dogs that do the job that I'm doing, you know, and I've bred for that, and the horses for that, you know, so it's like this, you know, it's like this, like inside this bigger picture, there's another picture, you know, like, and people don't really see it from the road, you know, but when you get a little bit closer.
Yeah. Beautiful. So we covered a lot of ground here, Bradley James.
I know. I'm glad you came, man. Like and I'm glad you got to see the studio and you got to really like see the dogs and my art and meet, you know,
great
the people.
food,
Yeah.
great people.
Yeah. I'm glad you took the time to come over and see it, man. It wouldn't have been the same if we had, you know, I'm glad you could.
Couldn't have done it on the phone.
Nope.
What a perfect way to get it done, my friend.
I appreciate it.
All right. We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of our podcast with Bradley Chance Hayes. If you do, please share it with your friends. You know, nothing like 5-star ratings on our platforms that we're on, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcast or YouTube, but you got to subscribe, and it's easy to do right while you're on there. If you follow my links off Facebook page or wherever you may do it, there is always a subscribe or follow button. That's the number one thing. Number two, if you would take some time, leave us a comment and give us those 5-star ratings. It helps put shows like this great show we just did, helps put them out into the world and get more listeners. And we want to thank Parasite Systems for their support with our podcast. Parasite System is a push-button parasitic diagnostic system for your pasture animals, your horses, your cattle, your goat, your sheep, your chickens, and for your companion animals, your dogs and your cats. Now they have mail-in testing for your dogs and your cats and your large animals. You can find them at parasitesystems.com. That's parasite as in seeing, SIGHT, systems.com. And we've got a coupon code BTC023 for 50% off your mail-in testing. What a hoot here in Saratoga Springs, New York, with Mr. Bradley Chance Hayes. What a day, my friend.
Good day, man.
And this officially is
The Big Show.
the big show. Bradley Chance Hayes, and this is Doug Simcox. Until next time, thank you for listening.